There is a silent truth that few are ready to hear, and it arrives precisely at the moment you are about to give up. Perhaps you have prayed for months, perhaps for years, perhaps you have spent entire nights awake asking for an answer, for a sign, for a life-changing turn. And what no one told you is that Archangel Michael, the one who carries the sword of light and watches over weary souls, is radiant at this very instant, looking at your home and preparing an unexpected joy that will dissolve everything that made you cry in secret. Listen closely, because the message you are about to receive now is not common. You are not here by chance. This video reached you at the exact moment your consciousness began to open up to a greater truth. And what Michael wishes to reveal to you today is the main secret that erases all the waiting, all the despair, all that feeling that life is stuck. Because the truth is this: you spent your whole life asking, but nothing happened, because you forgot the main secret. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel you already are. Repeat this mentally with me now, calmly, letting this phrase descend from your mind to your heart. I do not attract what I want. I attract what I feel I already am. This is the portal. This is the beginning of the end of your struggle. And this is precisely the message that Michael is bringing to your home today, an unexpected joy that will arrive when you finally understand that the miracle is not out there. It is waiting inside you, awaiting the exact moment you stop begging and start occupying. Occupying. Keep this word. Because in the law of assumption, you do not ask, you occupy. You do not plead, you inhabit. You do not wait, you are. And if you look inside your chest right now, you will notice a strange stirring, a feeling that something is about to change, a spiritual tingling that is difficult to explain. This is the presence of Michael. This is the confirmation that you have been found. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, because this restlessness you are feeling now, this feeling that heaven is trying to speak to you louder than ever, it will not go away on its own. It is the beginning of a greater call, and many people ignore it exactly at this point, exactly when the answer is closest. The book is titled, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, and it was written for souls like yours, who did not come here seeking pretty theory, but came seeking direction, protection, and the certainty that the family is spiritually covered. The link is in the description of this video and also pinned at the top of the comments. And I need to tell you with all honesty, thousands of people have already received this message at the right moment and told me later that peace returned, that the house calmed down, that decisions became clearer. This content may be taken down at any moment, because the enemy does not like to see a soul waking up, and if Michael brought you here, it is not for you to leave it for later. Download it now, read it with an open heart, and write Amen in the comments as a decree of acceptance, because the joy that will arrive at your home begins exactly at the instant you say yes to the call. And now that you have given this first yes, I need to take you deeper, because understanding the cause is half the cure. You spent years trying to manifest, trying to visualize, trying to ask with faith, and yet things remained the same. The bills kept tightening. The relationship remained cold. The health remained fragile. And each new attempt was accompanied by a greater disappointment, because it seemed that the more you desired, the further the answer remained. And then you began to wonder if you were doing something wrong, if you were undeserving, if God had forgotten you. None of that is true. What happened is much simpler and much more delicate. Your subconscious mind was operating on an old program of lack, a program installed many years ago, likely in childhood, and which continues to run silently, telling the universe, 24 hours a day, that you are a person in scarcity, a person in waiting, a person who has not yet arrived. And here is the first great revelation. The universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your state of consciousness. It does not listen to what you say in prayer, it listens to what you feel while you pray. Neville Goddard, that master who spent his entire life revealing the mystery of the I Am, said with a clarity that pierces the soul, feeling is the secret. It is not the will, it is not the technique, it is not the repetition, it is the feeling. What you feel to be true about yourself is what becomes your life, and if you feel deep in your chest that you have not yet arrived, the world continues to show you that you have not yet arrived, no matter how beautiful the prayer that leaves your mouth. Joseph Murphy said the same thing in different words. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. It accepts as a seed any feeling you deposit into it with conviction. And here is the cruel detail that no one taught you. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between desire and fear. It only recognizes emotional intensity. If you strongly desired the blessing to arrive, but were even more afraid that it wouldn't, it was the fear that became the seed. And that is why the harvest came in the shape of fear. And it is exactly here that many people lose the battle, because they discover the truth, but do not have the courage to go all the way alone. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, with the link pinned in the description and at the top of the comments. Michael has brought you this far, but your family needs you awake now, not tomorrow. Write Amen in the comment and keep walking with faith, because the call ignored today is the door that does not open later. Now take a deep breath, because this next part changes everything. Modern quantum physics, especially studies on the electromagnetic field of the heart, has shown something impressive. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends for meters around the body. And this field carries information. It is not a metaphor, it is not mysticism, it is science measured in a laboratory. And what determines the quality of this information is the dominant feeling you carry in your chest. When you enter a state of gratitude, your field organizes itself into coherence, and it begins to emit a frequency that tunes into that which is abundant, harmonic, and good. When you enter a state of anxiety, your field becomes disorganized, and it begins to emit a frequency that tunes into chaos. Michael knows this, the angels know this, and that is why divine intervention, even when it is ready to happen, often needs to wait. It waits for you to change your state, because only in an aligned state can the blessing land without dissolving along the way. Let us now enter what Neville Goddard called the fourth dimension, for without understanding this space, nothing I am about to teach you next will work. The world you see with your physical eyes is merely a projection of the world that first exists within you. This means that everything, absolutely everything, is created twice, first in the invisible, in the imagination, in consciousness, in the fourth dimension, and then, when the feeling has become constant enough to cross the barrier, it manifests in the visible, in the world of the senses, in the world of matter. You keep trying to change the world of the senses without first changing the state of consciousness, and that is why the world of the senses always returns to organizing itself in the old way. It is like trying to change a shadow without moving the object that projects it. Impossible. You can stroke the shadow all day long and it will still be there, because it is only the reflection. The object is somewhere else, and the object that projects your life is called the state of consciousness. So pay close attention to this next step, because it is the heart of the technique. The law of assumption says that you must assume now, within yourself, the emotional state that would correspond to the fulfillment of your desire. Not tomorrow, not when the proof appears, now. This means that if you desire joy at home, you cannot wait for joy to arrive to feel joyful. You must feel joyful first, even before any evidence, and sustain that feeling like someone shielding a lit candle in the middle of the wind. Neville Goddard called this sleeping in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He said that the last thing your consciousness touches before you fall asleep is the mold of your next reality. If you sleep worried about bills, you mold more days of worrying about bills. If you sleep rehearsing a scene where you have already received the blessing, where you are already giving thanks for it having happened, where you already feel in your body the relief that everything has been resolved, you mold a new reality. And the subconscious, that silent field that works over the following 8 hours, begins to stitch the external world around this new mold. Here enters a concept that Neville Goddard called the bridge of incidence. It is the bridge that your new consciousness builds between the old state, where you have not yet received, and the new state, where you have already received. This bridge is made of small events that arise in your daily life, apparently random, but which in truth are leading you step by step to the final manifestation. A person calls you unexpectedly. An opportunity arises out of nowhere. A document that was lost appears. A door that was closed opens. And if you are attentive, You will realize that each of these events is a sign that the bridge is being built over you, silently, while Archangel Michael organizes the pieces in the invisible. But I must warn you about the most common mistake, the one that annuls everything. Many people begin to walk across the bridge and in the middle of the path feel fear, and fear interrupts it. The bridge of incidents requires persistence, and persistence here does not mean brute effort. It does not mean gritting your teeth and trying to believe. Persistence here means returning. Every time the mind comes with the old voice of lack, you return. Every time the heart tightens with fear, you return. Every time the external world offers you proof that nothing has changed, you return. Return to the state of the wish fulfilled. Return to the feeling of giving thanks for what has not yet come. Return to I am. Because the I am, that statement which runs through the entire Bible, is not just a religious phrase, it is the signature of your creative consciousness. Every time you say I am followed by anything, you are labeling your state of consciousness. If you say I am tired, I am poor, I am lonely, you are recording this into the field. If you say I am loved, I am prosperous, I am protected by the angels, you record another reality. And the subconscious, obedient as it has always been, begins to execute what your label has declared. And if at this point you are already feeling your chest warm, tears welling up, or that chill that does not come from the cold, it is because Michael is confirming. Your bridge of incidents has already begun to be built over you. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, with the link pinned in the description and at the top of the comments. Do not ignore this call now, because your home is about to receive joy, and your soul needs to be prepared to welcome it. Comment I am ready below as a decree of acceptance before heaven, and let the Archangel know you have heard. Now let us talk about a piece that almost no one works with: the due awareness, the internal dialogue. You have a voice that speaks to you all day long. This voice is your main tool of manifestation, and most people have never paid attention to it. If you stop now, close your eyes for an instant, and listen to what you have been saying to yourself, you will realize that many phrases repeat themselves. They are patterns, and each of these patterns is an inverted prayer, because repetition imprints, and what is imprinted manifests. If you keep mentally repeating phrases like, I don't know how I will pay, I don't know how this will resolve, it always happens to me, he will never change, money is never enough, you are literally sewing this fabric into your field. And then comes Michael, with all the goodwill of heaven, trying to deliver a blessing, and this blessing cannot enter because your house is locked from the inside by your own dialogue. It is not punishment, it is law. It is like wanting water to enter a cup turned upside down. It does not enter, not because the water doesn't want to, but because the cup is not positioned correctly. Michael challenges you today: turn the cup, change the internal dialogue. And look how interesting, you do not need to force a positive affirmation like I am a millionaire when your chest screams the opposite, because that generates conflict, and conflict weakens. What Neville Goddard taught was different. He taught that you should create short, very specific scenes that represent the desire already fulfilled, and rehearse these scenes as an actor rehearses a role, until the feeling becomes natural. I will give you an example to keep it grounded. Let's say you are suffocated with bills, the rent payment tightening, grocery prices rising, the credit card statement closing heavy, and your head spiraling. The technique is not to keep saying I am prosperous while looking at your negative balance. The technique is to create a scene where you are on your sofa with a cup of coffee in your hand, looking at the bank statement on your phone and seeing the exact number you would need to have peace, and you feel it. Feel the relief. Feel that sigh we give when the problem has already passed. Feel the silent gratitude that rises from your chest. Feel this, even if only for 2 minutes, and repeat this scene every night before sleeping, when the subconscious mind is at the gateway and accepts the seed with ease. Neville Goddard used to say that 7 to 10 minutes in this state, in this feeling, lived as if it had already happened, are worth more than 7 hours of rational effort during the day, because the subconscious mind is the factory, and you are finally delivering the right raw material to it. Amen. Do this for 7 nights in a row with persistence. 7 nights without fail. 7 nights entering the scene, feeling the desire already fulfilled, giving thanks before any proof. And pay attention to the following days, because the bridge of incidents begins to assemble. Someone will seek you out. An idea will emerge out of nowhere over coffee. A proposal will pop up on your WhatsApp. Forgotten money will reappear. A former client will return. And each one of these events is Michael giving you a gentle nudge saying, keep going, you are on the right path. Now I want to talk about another example, because I know many people here are not seeking money. They are seeking reconciliation. They are seeking the return of a love or the healing of a broken family relationship. A child who has drifted away, a husband who has become a stranger within the home, a mother who has hardened her heart. And here the law of assumption works the same way, but with an added delicacy, because it involves another soul. You're not going to try to change the other person. That does not work, nor would it be fair. You are going to change the version of that person that exists within you. Neville Goddard taught that every person in your life is a projection of the state you maintain about them in your imagination. If you maintain within yourself the version of the absent child, the cold husband, the hardened mother, you continue to feed that version in the shared field. But if you begin to internally sustain the version of the child who embraces you again, the husband who looks at you with tenderness again, the mother who yields to love again, you begin to change the field, and the field pulls the other person toward that version without them even noticing. This is not manipulation. This is operative prayer. It is what Jesus did when he said it is finished. He did not ask. He affirmed from the state already fulfilled. And that is why miracles happened, because he operated directly in the fourth dimension, directly in the state where the desire already is. Create a scene with this person you love. A short, intimate, vivid scene, a hug, a reconciling conversation, a phone call in which they cry and say they miss you, a Sunday afternoon where everyone is together again. Enter this scene every night. Feel the scent, feel the touch, feel the laughter, feel the peace, and let the subconscious do the work behind the scenes. It is not your external effort that will bring the person back. It is your silent state of consciousness that will reorganize the field. And here comes the part that is perhaps the hardest to accept, but which separates those who manifest from those who only dream. Persistence is not an attempt. Persistence is a renewed choice. Every time the external evidence shows you that nothing has changed, you return to the feeling of the desire fulfilled. Every time the longing grows intense, you return. Every time fear strikes, you return. Every time exhaustion tries to convince you that it won't work, you return. Because manifestation does not come from intensity, it comes from constancy. A small flame that burns without stopping warms the whole house. An explosion that goes out in 5 minutes warms nothing. And Michael, who is now radiant over your home, is doing precisely this work. He is helping you keep the flame lit. Every shiver you feel, every vivid dream that appears during the night, every coincidence that catches your attention, all of this is the Archangel confirming to you, keep going, I am here. There is a truth about unexpected joy that almost no one understands. It does not arrive when you chase it. It arrives when you embody it. It arrives when your vibration becomes equal to it, when you no longer need it to feel like it. This is the divine paradox. The instant you surrender to the feeling of already having, the universe is obligated by law to deliver it to you. It is not magic. It is cosmic order. It is like gravity. It falls because it falls, not because someone asked. Amen. And that is why most fail. Not because they don't deserve it, but because they give up a second before delivery. They get anxious, start checking the external world all the time, start asking where it is, start doubting, and that doubt contaminates the field. Michael asks you one thing today: release the anxiety of delivery. You have already asked, you have already assumed the state of consciousness. Now it is time to trust the invisible process. Keep living, keep working, keep loving, but with your heart already in possession. A powerful principle from Joseph Murphy states that the subconscious mind knows all paths, and it will find the fastest route to materialize what you have assumed. You don't need to know how. The how is its business. Your job is simply to maintain the scene, maintain the feeling, maintain the I am. And trust. Trust that Michael, that the archangels, that the guardian angels of your family are organizing the details that you couldn't even organize if you tried. And before I let you enter the final part of this message, I need to teach you the complete nighttime ritual, that sacred moment between day and night when your consciousness is most open. This is the most powerful portal that exists, and most people waste it by scrolling on their phones, watching bad news, arguing with someone, or falling asleep under worry. Do not do this anymore. You have just understood that what you mold before sleeping becomes your tomorrow. Start about 30 minutes before lying down. Dim the lights, put your phone away. Sit in a comfortable place if possible, with your spine straight and your feet on the floor, and take 3 deep breaths, letting the air enter deep into your abdomen and leave slowly, emptying any tension. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your heart. You don't need to force anything, just rest there. Now, mentally, give thanks for the day that has passed, even if it was difficult. Gratitude demagnetizes the old world. Then, build the scene. Choose a single desire at a time. Do not mix them, because scattered focus weakens the field. If today the desire is reconciliation, enter the scene of reconciliation. If today the desire is prosperity, enter the scene of prosperity. If today the desire is healing, enter the scene of healing. See the scene in detail. Where you are, what clothes you are wearing, who is with you, what you are saying, what the other person is saying, what scents are in the air, how your body feels. And mainly, enter into the feeling as if the scene had already happened, as if you were reliving a happy memory and not imagining a distant dream. This is the key. It is imagined past, not desired future. Neville Goddard was categorical about this. Stay in this scene for 7 to 10 minutes. If your mind wanders, and it will wander, return gently without being hard on yourself. Then lie down and fall asleep in the feeling. Let the wish fulfilled be the last note played in your consciousness before sleep. And trust that the subconscious, now with the right seed in its hands, will work the next 8 hours, sewing your external reality around this new pattern. Do this for 40 days in a row. 40 days is the biblical number of transformation. It is no coincidence. 40 days in the desert for Jesus, 40 days of flood for Noah, 40 years in the desert for Moses. 40 is the cycle in which a reprogramming is completed. And if you can maintain persistence for those 40 days, your external world will not just change, it will reorganize itself in obedience to the new I am that you have imprinted. You might be thinking, but what about the days when I fail? What about the days when I can't feel it? And the days when worry is greater than faith? Listen very carefully, because this part is the most important. Failure does not annul the process. Returning annuls the failure. Every time you return, the field accepts it. The field does not judge. The field only registers the dominant state of consciousness. If the dominant state is one of genuine effort to remain in the fulfilled desire, even with small failures along the way, the result will come. If the dominant state is one of giving up, the result will not come and you will blame the method, when in truth it was the internal surrender that ruined everything. Michael is there to help you exactly on the days when your faith falters. Call upon him. Say in your thoughts or aloud, Michael, illuminate my state of consciousness now. Cut through thoughts of lack with your sword. Protect my imagination so that it only serves what is good. Keep it simple, don't overcomplicate it, and watch the relief arrive in seconds. The archangels have no ego. They only wait to be called. And there is a sign that often appears when the manifestation is about to materialize in the external world. It is a sign of calm, a strange calm, almost like indifference, but not a cold indifference, rather a tranquil indifference. It is when you realize that the desire no longer hurts you. You continue to desire, but the desperation has dissolved. This means you already occupy the state. And when the desire does not hurt you, it is because it is no longer a lack. It is because it has already become an inner truth. And when it becomes an inner truth, the external world is compelled to materialize it. Michael confirms this with small signs throughout the week. A light that flickers for no reason. A bird that appears at the window at an unlikely hour. A dream where you embrace someone who was distant. A song playing on the radio at the exact moment you were thinking about the subject. Pay attention. Write it down. Give thanks. Each sign is a confirmation that the bridge of incidents is rising above you. And when the unexpected joy finally arrives at your home, and it will arrive because the law does not fail, you will look back and understand that nothing happened by chance. You were led, you were taught, you were healed. Michael was radiant from the very first day, waiting only for you to understand that the key was in your own hands, in your imagination, in your feeling, in your I am. And today I want to leave you with one last truth, a truth that sums everything up. Life is not unfair, life is obedient. It obeys the state you sustain. If it has shown you difficulty, it is because, without realizing it, you have been sustaining difficulty within. But from now on, with everything you have just learned, you know how to sustain something else. And the world, obedient as it has always been, will begin to show you this other thing day after day, week after week, until the new life is so firm that you will barely remember what the old one was like. That which you have been crying over most in silence, that which you have hidden from everyone, that which only God knows Michael has seen. And he is here not just to console you, but to activate you. You did not come to drag this old life for any longer. You came to occupy the state of the new life, and the process begins tonight. Michael would not be beaming about your home right now if this message had reached you by chance. You have been summoned, and responsibility is paid with attitude, not with promises. That is why I have prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, with the link pinned in the description and also at the top of the comments. It was crafted for souls who have already heard the call and now need complete guidance to shield their family, sustain their new state of consciousness, and walk under the protection of the Archangel. Do not put it off, because to delay a divine call is to weaken the bridge of incidents being raised above you. Download it now, read it with an open heart, and come back here to tell me what has changed. If this message touched you where it needed to, write Amen, Michael, I am ready to receive, and turn this comment into your decree of acceptance before heaven. Unexpected joy is already on its way. Receive it.